Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah. And in today's episode, we are going to assemble more of that 4G63 goodness until it's pretty much complete, pretty much. So, let's dive in and see what needs to be done. Okay, so it looks like I put on a lot, which I kind of did. But let's explain what went on. So this piece, the sandwich plate with the filter, we used the good gasket. Doesn't require any additional adhesion. 4 screws, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, excuse me, 4. And that sucker's on there. Then this black bracket holds all of these pulleys. So that's been cleaned and put back on. But before you put this bracket on, you have to put this plate in the back on so you're able to fully cover the timing area. So after that, we put this guy in, which has the grenade pin. And now, hopefully, we'll be sliding on the head. Head gasket is in. And I'm using this particular gasket because it's a lot more forgiving than your typical 3-layer metal head gasket. And they love to blow at the most inopportune time. So to avoid that, we could pop this bad boy on there and be good to go. So let's do that, pop the head on and take it from there. Okay, so the head is placed on, okay. Make sure, if you do it the way I did it with the stud sticking up and you put the washers in there. I put all of the washers in on all, 10? You may need to pull out a stud or two because the washer will get stuck on a spring. So probably just put the head on the dowel pins and then put the studs in. That'll probably be a safer bet, especially if you're trying to put the washers in. The nut is actually smaller than the washer, so that's not too big of a deal. But make sure you don't make that mistake and torque the washer down on a spring seat. That'll make for a really bad day. So to avoid that, make sure you do that right. So all of these washers are flat onto the head, as you can see there. And then now we're gonna put some more ARP lube. That's another thing. Make sure you put ARP lube on both sides of the washer, and then when you torque it down, it won't get stuck or anything like that. So now we're gonna ARP lube the nuts and pop those in, torque this head down, and we will be good to go. Okay, so to get the nuts on there properly, you could do something like this. And what you do is you aim it to the top of the nut right there. And then you drop it down. So that way you never miss. Okay, so you're gonna put those in by hand. Excuse me. All right, so you're gonna put these in by hand tight. You're gonna make sure all of them are on the threads, ready to rock and roll, ARP lube achieved. And then you're gonna do your steps, okay? You're gonna do 20, 40, 60, then 80. And then you should be good to go. So we're gonna do those steps, torque wrench, and move from there. Okay, so excuse the fan noise. Pretty hot in here. All right, so now we're gonna put over the little pipe. It goes from the water pump all the way around. And also we're going to put on the turbo manifold. So that's going to pop right on there and should be good to go. Okay, the turbo is on. We're using a big 16G turbo here, which we're only going to use this for a short period of time. We're actually going to upgrade a little bit later, but for right now, you want to make sure your feed line is on. So we're going to put this clamp here, tighten that up, and then we should be good to go. Then your feed line for the turbo, that's on. The water pipe, which comes from this hard pipe right here, is on and tight. Everything there is tight. We got our washer there ready to go on once we get to that plateau. And then we've tightened all of these bolts starting from the inside and then working your way out. And in the middle of doing that, this one stripped. So I had to take out the old one and then put in this longer bolt that has Allen head so you could tighten up the actual stud separately. And boom, put the nut on there, we're good to go. So while we're here, only thing remaining is the oil pan and all of that goodness. But we haven't gotten to that plateau yet, so last thing we got to do is tighten this. But since we have the head on here, we can go ahead and put on an upgrade for the head specifically because it does have cams. These are aftermarket cams. I'm told it's 272 on the exhaust and 268 on the intake. And yep, so that's good to go there. We got springs, retainers, as you can see there. And last but not least thing we have to upgrade is this guy right here, the HLA. So we are gonna grab that right now. Okay, so the reason you want to replace this particular item is because these engines have, I guess not necessarily an issue, but an issue of keeping all of the oil in the head. So to reduce that issue to a minimum and keep the oil in the oil pan where it needs to be so you don't run dry on your bearings is a HLA, which reduces the PSI to the head to 15 PSI instead of whatever the crank puts out. So we're gonna swap this over. Thanks to Kigley for this one, not sponsored or anything, but definitely high quality stuff. So we have the gasket and we have the HLA. All right, so let's pop this in. We can use the existing screws and we'll be good to go. Goes in just like that, of course with the gasket and everything. So let's pop this off and get to it. Okay, out with the old. Okay, and we're gonna come in with the new 8 foot-pounds. That's all it takes. Do not go crazy with this because remember, this is aluminum and it will strip. So far, there's no stripping going on, so we're good to go. We want to keep it that way. So we're going to put this back on, 8 foot-pounds, and boom, done. Okay, so as you can see, it's in position. I didn't tighten down the bolts yet. They're not tight at all. All right, so as you see, it goes in like that. Pretty simple. And after that, we're going to tighten this sucker down. And that's all she wrote. All right. New parts, always so satisfying. All right. Okay, so technically that is all said and done for the top end of things. Next thing we have to do is pop on the valve cover. But pertaining to valve cover, this valve cover isn't ready yet, but I am very excited about putting this valve cover on here. It's actually gonna get powder coated a particular color, which I believe is written on the valve cover. But yeah, we're gonna basically powder coat it, finish the little bezel on the bottom, and it should be ready to go. So let's take a sneak peek at what valve cover is going on here. There you go. As you could see, this is the valve cover that's going to be on here. So this is going to be gold, and all the lettering is going to be powder coated black with the Hyundai equipment. And basically it's just to throw everybody through a loop. You know, you see a GSX and then you open the hood and it says Hyundai. A little odd. So yeah, we're gonna do this one. Gonna turn out great. And yep, I actually did some repair on this one, but of course there's gonna be more. But yeah, so far so good. That's gonna be pretty cool. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. All right, so we got the belt here. Okay. Ready to rock and roll. So yep, little sticker. Lets you know when the belt was last changed. And then we are clear to put this bad boy on. And heck yeah, so let's start with the cams and put it over the crank and oil pump gear and get it right. Okay, so timing belt is not tight yet, but we have it on. Okay, first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you go back one tooth from here. So when the belt is tight, it'll be right on time, because we're gonna put tension on the belt right there and we should be good to go. So I'm gonna get the specialty tool for that guy there, tighten up the belt, and we should be good to go. Okay, and this is a specialty tool. You can get this offline and it goes in just like that. Hold on. There we go. Just like that, and uses a 8mm to turn it clockwise. And then what you're gonna wanna do is turn this clockwise until this guy is loose. Like right now it's really tight, has a lot of resistance, and you want to get it to where it's loose and has no resistance. Then you tighten up your 14mm here and you're all done. So that's definitely going to be a two-hander job. Let me get that done and show you exactly what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so that part is done, and as you can see, it's loose and wiggly. That's exactly what you want. And then dead smack on the timing mark. Now we can take everything out. If you are unsure, you can rotate the engine twice and make sure everything lines up. So, since this isn't my first rodeo, I am satisfied with how everything turned out here on the timing. So we're gonna leave it, make sure everything is tight. Of course, make sure these two bolts are tight. Make sure this still goes in and out, which it does perfectly. Make sure everything is tight. Tight, and done. Okay, so after that, we put the timing cover on, whole bunch of 10mm all the way around. This one's a little jacked up, so I'm not gonna pop that one in, but we do have the middle, so we should be good to go. And then we have the rest of those all the way down here. Everything looks good, bolted in, nice and tight. And these pieces here have been upgraded from the OEM, which are these guys, to these guys that twist right in the original housing and then have 10AN on both sides to improve flow, of course. I'm gonna leave the link in the description, and I'm gonna post a picture over here so you guys can actually see it and grab it, because of course the links don't last forever, but a picture always does. So we're gonna put that over here, and boom, pause it, take a picture yourself, either way. And then that's gonna come up later. So anyway, now that this stuff is complete, I would like to add on the remainder of this good stuff. So we're gonna put on the water pump pulleys, both of them, which are those two guys there. And then continue bolting on the alternator, power steering, and all of that other good stuff. Also, I've been debating something. So we have that beautiful pulley that's gonna go on here, and basically this is not very appealing. So was kind of looking to upgrade it, and we came up with an ARP nut. So, well, excuse me, bolt, not nut. But anyway, yep, and that'll really clean things up. And this needs to be torqued down. We're gonna take a look at the part number and the torque specs really fast. This is one of those moments where if you are working on this type of engine, you are free to pause at any time. Okay, 140 foot-pounds of torque. Part number is right up top. Okay. So we are going to pop this guy out, put on the hyper dampener. We're gonna put anti-seize on these bolts so we don't lose the dampener. And then, yep, we're gonna torque this down to 140, not this one, but the ARP, of course. And yep, we should be good to go down here. All right, and with a 3/4, probably can't see that, there we go, 3/4. Give it a little couple love taps, and then now we're gonna put that on there. We're gonna torque it down to 140, and we'll be good to go here. Okay, so we got some Loctite on these guys. Did it in a cross pattern just to make sure. And we are dead on top dead center. Yep, 100%. So that's looking good. And yeah, let's get these accessories on here. Let's get the alternator, power steering. All right, so we added in the dipstick, 114 millimeter here. Clean off your tube, put it in the block, on and tight. And then we also added this guy, which was simple enough. You slide it behind this pipe. 414s, done. So we got the brand new 150 amp alternator on there. So we got that piece nice and tight. That's the adjuster. Water pump tensioner is underneath here. All right, then we got the power steering. Perfect. Use a pry bar, pull it back, tighten up your 2 bolts there, 1 bolt there. Don't forget your bracket, 2 bolts on the bottom, and then 1 bolt over here. And then that's it for the bracket. And boom, we got everything going on right there. And then motor mount. So yep, it's looking good. I think we could stop right there and admire all that's been done. So there's still more to come. We still haven't put the oil pan on this thing, so stay tuned. And with that said, we're gonna call it an episode right there. I'm basically gonna put together a couple small items off camera, which is no big deal. Motor mount brackets, more brackets, and we'll probably come back when it comes to the clutch situation. I'm gonna see if I can put on the rear main seal and get that stuff done, oil pan on, you know, the boring stuff. And after that, we're gonna button up the transmission and everything is going back in. So I'm excited. I'm ready to get this car running and driving as soon as possible. So, and with that said, as always, remember guys, knowledge is power, and I will definitely see you next time.